Last week this woman got the fright of a lifetime. She heard a strange noise echoing through her garden. It started with a faint howl, but the sound grew louder and louder. When she finally found the source, it turned out to be this puppy, who was hiding in the bushes. She tried to approach it, to see where it came from. But what happened next was unbelievable. Woman finds puppy in her garden. Pay close attention to what happens next. Anna had always been reasonably content with her normal life. She lived in a small but cute home in the suburbs of a town called Avoyne, France. She had a decent job, some close friends, and enough time to indulge in her hobbies. But there was always something missing. But that all changed when she discovered this puppy in her backyard. Pay close attention to what happens next. One afternoon, Anna was puttering in her garden when she heard a faint whimpering sound. At first, she thought it was just a stray cat or a bird, but as she approached the sound, it grew louder and more urgent. She looked around for about 10 minutes after that, but the sound faded away and could not be traced anymore. She cleaned her tools and headed back inside. What a strange noise that was, she thought as she stepped into her home. It wouldn't take long for the sound to return. Was this her mind playing a trick on her? Or was there something outside roaming in her garden? Anna tried to shake off that feeling of unease. She went about her day, but the thought of the strange noise lingered in her mind. Later that day, she was drinking her afternoon coffee when she heard the whimpering sound again. This time, it was louder and more persistent. She followed the sound, and it led her out the back door of her house again. It was definitely coming from her garden, just like it did before. When she looked out her back door, she saw something move near the wall in her backyard. It took a while before she saw what it was. There was a little puppy sitting there. She could hardly believe her eyes, but there he was. All alone, without an owner around. For a moment Anna hesitated about what to do, but she decided to go outside anyway. She couldn't just leave that little out there, so she stepped outside and walked over to the puppy. The pup looked up at her with big, soulful eyes and let out a big bark. It was the most adorable thing. Anna's heart went out to the little creature. She had always loved dogs, but she never had one of her own and always wanted one. But this dog must have an owner, right? Is what the now overwhelmed woman thought. She could hardly believe her eyes, but there he was. All alone, without an owner around. For a moment Anna hesitated to touch it. But she couldn't leave that little pup out there by himself, right? She looked around to see if there was someone looking for the furry creature, but besides the soft moaning of the puppy, it was dead silent. Indeed, there was no owner in sight. Poor little dog, she thought. As she approached the puppy, he squeaked softly. He didn't seem startled by Anna. She crouched down next to the pup and held out a hand. But when she picked him up, something totally unexpected happened. Anna's arms extended and she was just about to pick up the pup. The little animal recoiled a little. It seemed that he longed to be helped but didn't quite trust the woman yet. Although the puppy recoiled a little when Anna held out her hand, the animal didn't seem too scared of her. After a few sniffs, he even started pushing her hand with its nose. He clearly wanted to be helped. Luckily, she showed a lot of patience, and after a few minutes, the puppy started licking her hand with its wet tongue. As soon as Anna saw this, she stroked the dog's head. This affection made the animal feel at ease. He got up and then walked over to Anna. But when he did this, Anna suddenly saw something strange. The dog was wearing a collar. And on that collar was a hanger that looked like an old rusty key. A strange thing to hang around your dog's neck, Anna thought, but she didn't think much of it at the time. She picked up the puppy and held it close to her chest, trying to soothe it with gentle words and strokes. The puppy seemed to finally relax in her arms, and Anna knew then that she couldn't just leave the little one outside in the cold. She brought the puppy back inside her home and set about giving it a warm bath and a good meal. The dog's fur tickled her neck, and Anna smiled the entire time she held him. She fed it some water and a bit of kibble from her pantry and settled it down on a soft blanket in her living room. The puppy fell asleep almost immediately, snoring lightly. Anna couldn't help but smile at the sight of the little dog, so peaceful and trusting. She felt a warmth in her chest that she hadn't felt in a long time. Maybe this was the missing piece of her life she had been searching for. Over the next few days, Anna took care of the puppy as if it were her own child. She named it Max and took it to the vet for a checkup and some vaccinations. She bought it toys and treats and a soft, warm bed. She treated it like it was her puppy now. As she watched the little puppy devour its food, Anna knew that she had found what was missing in her life. She had always loved animals, but she never had a pet of her own. Now, she had this tiny creature to care for, and she felt a sense of purpose that she had never felt before. But the fact remained that this probably was not her dog. And this fact kept creeping up on her. She was only pretending to be its owner, and even though she fell in love hard with the little one, it did not feel completely right. And every time she passed the kitchen table, she got reminded of this because there in the center lay that rusty old key that was hanging from Max's neck. Who could it belong to? She could not ignore this key any longer. Somebody must be so worried about him. If I lost you, I would be heartbroken, Anna spoke to little Max, who was staring at her with his big round eyes. She took a picture of the dog and the key and posted it on her social media. Maybe someone else would have the answer. When she had finished up her post, the waiting game could begin. She put the key on the table and stared at it for a little while. But then suddenly she noticed something. The key said 1722 on the side. Could this be the year that the key was made? That would mean that the house it belonged to must be old, very old. How many of those old houses could there be? Coincidentally, her friend had an antique shop and constantly talked about ancient objects. Maybe she could help. Half an hour later, Anna arrived at Carrie's antique store with the puppy in the passenger seat. "Oh, what a cutie," her friend exclaimed immediately when Anna came in with the puppy in her hand. "Is he new?" "I found this poor little animal in my backyard," Anna explained as she walked over to the counter. "Together with this key." She put the antique object on the counter. Carrie looked at the rusty key with a magnifying glass. Anna waited anxiously for an answer. If somebody knew anything about this key, then it would be her, Anna thought. Carrie looked at Anna with a cautious smile on her face. "I know exactly what this key is for," said the owner of the antique store. "With this key, you can enter the castle gardens of Velair. Look, it is written in very small letters on the handle of the key." Anna looked at her in surprise. The Velair Gardens? The Velair Castle was one of the biggest buildings in the wide area. It was the private property of a rich aristocratic family. They were hardly ever seen in public, but supposedly they were very egocentric and nasty people. At least those were the words that spread through a crowd during a Friday night at the local pub. "Should I go there?" Anna asked her friend. Maybe the puppy's owner is there, she thought. "It is worth checking out," her friend and shop owner said. Luckily, the gardens were close by, so Anna drove there directly. Anna arrived at the gardens of Velair. She had no idea what to expect from this place. She had never actually been there, but had always wanted to go there. Unfortunately, you were not allowed to just enter, as it was a National Heritage Site. There were more than 10 doors leading to different places. Which one should she take? She picked up the key, and then she suddenly saw it. There was a 6 on the key. Maybe that points to the 6th door. It was worth a shot, thought Anna. As she walked to the door with the puppy in her hand, she thought about the situation and hesitated a little. What a weird scavenger hunt this is. Maybe this isn't right. It felt like breaking in somewhere to her. Still, Anna persevered. She was too curious. But most importantly, she also had to find the owner of this sweet dog. Anna carefully put the key in the hole in the old garden door. When she heard a click, she clicked it open. She slowly pushed against the door. When Anna saw what was on the other side, she could not believe her eyes. She stood in the private quarters of what seemed to be royalty. High ceilings and huge chandeliers sparkled in the light of a fireplace. "Hello, is there anybody here?" she shouted. At first, there was no response. Anna hesitated, but then the puppy in her arms let out a soft whine. She realized that she couldn't turn back now. Slowly, she made her way through the spacious hallways, looking around in awe at the ornate decor and luxurious furnishings. What an amazing place, she thought as she kept walking. The mansion looked like something out of a fairy tale. Anna's heart skipped a beat as she imagined what it must be like to live in such a grand and luxurious place. But her daydream was interrupted when she heard a voice in the distance. A few moments later, the door opened, and she was greeted by a tall, handsome man with piercing blue eyes and a warm smile. "Can I help you?" he asked. Yes," Anna stammered, suddenly feeling shy. "I found a dog, and I was told that he might belong to someone here." The man's smile widened. "Yes, that would be me," he said. "I've been looking for my dog for days. Come in, please." Anna stepped into the next room, feeling like she had entered another world. As they walked through the mansion, David told Anna about his dog, Henry. He explained that Henry was his constant companion and that he had been devastated when the little dog disappeared. He thanked Anna profusely for bringing Henry back to him and promised to reward her for her kindness. Anna felt a warmth spread through her chest as she watched David interact with Henry. She could see the deep love and affection he had for the little dog, and it made her heart swell. She couldn't help but feel drawn to David, despite all the rumors she had heard about him. Over the next few days, Anna visited the Velayer mansion often to spend time with David and Henry. They took walks in the gardens and played fetch with Henry. They even shared meals in the grand dining room. Anna was surprised to find that David was nothing at all like the rumors had suggested. He was kind, caring, and he made her feel special in a way that no one ever had before. As the days turned into weeks, Anna and David grew closer. They talked about everything from their favorite books to their dreams. Anna found herself falling in love with David, and she could tell that he felt the same way. One evening, as they sat in front of the fireplace, David took Anna's hand and looked deep into her eyes. "Anna," he said, "I know we've only known each other for a short time, but I feel like I've known you forever. Will you be my girlfriend?" Anna's heart skipped a beat as she looked at David. She felt so happy and fulfilled in a way she had never felt before. She nodded her head and smiled. "Yes, David. I would love to be your girlfriend," she said, feeling her cheeks flush with excitement. David leaned in and kissed her gently on the lips. It was like nothing she had ever experienced before. From that moment on, Anna's life changed completely. She moved into the Velayer mansion and started a new life with David and Henry. They were inseparable, and Anna was happier than she had ever been. She still worked at her job, but now she had David and Henry waiting for her at home every day. She had finally found what was missing in her life. Anna looked back on that day when she found Max and smiled. If it weren't for that little dog, she would never have met David and found the love and happiness she had been searching for. She knew that Max had brought them together for a reason, and she was grateful for him every day. Anna's life had taken an unexpected turn, but she had never been happier. She had found love, a new home, and a furry friend to call her own. She had finally found her purpose, and it was all thanks to the little dog that had wandered into her life. She knew that whatever came her way, she would always cherish the memories of that day and be grateful for the life she had been given. His story ended up giving us a feeling of wonder. It shows us that a small thing could end up making a huge difference in someone's life. Sometimes people work day in and out to find a purpose or an outlook on a better life. But the best things in life just simply happen. They are not coordinated, but you just stumble upon them. So the next time you feel overworked or feel like you're all alone in the world and see no bright future ahead of you, just take a deep breath and take a step back. Go outside and walk around in the sunlight. The world is full of beautiful and unexpected moments, and they are here for all of us. Just be patient, and they will come.